Chris Spiker for AV Nice. We're doing a feature of Katie Nelson, a friend of mine. Katie, hi.
Hi, Chris.
How long have we known each other?
Oh my gosh,
friends?
it goes back a ways, decades at least.
Chamber of Commerce?
Chamber of Commerce. But Chamber of Commerce, like when though? Like we're talking Chamber of Commerce, 90s.
In the 90s?
I want to say 90s.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
And at that time you were...
And we were like 5 or 6 years old then.
No, we were adults by then
Well,
already. I don't know about
unfortunately,
you.
yeah.
But the years are stacking up. But
They're stacking up.
I started shooting these AV Nice pieces because there are some wonderful people here in the Antelope Valley.
They really are.
Amazing
They really
businesses,
are, yes.
amazing sunrises, sunsets, the things that people do here, not
So much.
the people out of Plant 42, the things they build and test and fly.
It really is an amazing community.
It's an amazing community. So
I love it.
We start talking to people. I'd say, were we in the 90s somewhere?
90s, for sure.
What brought
Yeah.
you to the Antelope Valley?
What brought me to the Antelope Valley?
I know
Gosh.
who, but what?
All right. My husband, and essentially, yeah, moved here, and that brought me here. But I love the Antelope Valley, and honestly, I love the desert. Really, I know people are like, "Oh, it's the desert." And I actually grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, so it's very swampy, a lot of bugs, and I honestly really like the dry weather, and I like.
You don't
the
miss the
desert.
bugs?
I don't miss the bugs at all. No, that's one thing I do not miss. The people, but not the bugs.
But so what was the decision to, your first job at the radio station?
Well, actually, I did marketing for the Desert Inn. If you goes back to
Marketing.
the Desert Inn,
Gotcha.
right? So Desert Inn Hotel, which was on Sierra Highway, which I think you guys were. Antelope Valley Florist had a location on Sierra Highway.
We've had a couple, we had something
Yeah.
on the east side of the tracks,
Gotcha. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
but we had an account at the Desert Inn. What a place.
Right, and Granada Room. Do you remember the Granada Room and Club DI? And that was the place. But then I did get into radio after that. So I worked at the radio station for about 13 years. So yeah, that was good.
So a job in radio, does
Mm-hmm.
that mean you get to meet everybody or nobody wants to meet you?
I guess maybe a little bit of both. It depends on your agenda. So it's really just kind of helping the community, helping businesses, get the word out. And that's really what radio has been for, many, many years.
And then H.W. Hunter.
And then, yes, I was at Hunter Dodge for about 10 years. So working for Tim and Tom Fuller, and they are amazing people, as you, I'm sure, have known for many years. They sold the dealership, though, and I decided to get into a new adventure.
Well, the Hunter family had been selling Dodge, et ceteras for...
Since 1944 on Sierra Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of history here. A lot of history.
And the card you're handing out now,
Yes. What am I peddling now?
Point 4 Digital.
Point 4 Digital.
What is that?
So it's part of Point Broadcasting. So Point Broadcasting also has radio stations. They've got regular terrestrial radio, but then they also have digital products. So if you're, online searching, so you're searching on Google and you want to find something and you want to show up high on Google, then we can help you with that kind of marketing. YouTube, social media, really anything that you're doing that's streaming television, streaming radio, all the digital products that they have. So that's kind of why I came on board, just to kind of help the staff and the team get familiar with what digital marketing is, and then also help some of the local businesses that don't have access to, say, like a big agency. Like a lot of these local mom and pop businesses, they don't have access to a big agency to help them. Like, I want to show up on Google. Do you know what I mean? I've got my little business that wants to show up when people type it in, but they don't know where to go. What are you going to do? Call Google? I mean, they're not going to answer the phone. So, this is where I come in. And we have these products that we can help. No matter what size business you have, we can help you show up on Google, show up on YouTube, show up on social media, because it's so important these days, because that's where everybody's going,
Anthony and I are shooting videos, and the trick has always been, okay, that's a nice video. What do you do with it?
Now, what do you do?
Yeah, it's
yes,
like,
exactly.
let's get some eyeballs on this thing.
How do we get the eyeballs on, and
Yeah.
where are the eyeballs? And what's nice about digital, though, is you can kind of hone in who you're targeting, right? So if you've got a special audience that you want to target, we can, fine-tune that and make sure that the eyeballs that are on it are the right eyeballs.
I had a set of eyeballs telling me, you're not on TikTok, and that's probably where your target market is.
Okay, well that's
So,
one
okay.
aspect to look at it that way.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got it.
So, do you actually know what all these initials are?
I believe I do. I should.
OTT and CTV.
Yes. So that's over the top is what the acronym is from.
Over the top.
Over the top, which
That's
is
cool.
It's a little cool, but it's initially when I saw it, I was like, okay, I don't know who came up with that. It could have been better. Over the top is basically streaming television, and the reason they call it over the top is because it's not like your regular TV; it's over the top TV. I guess that's the thought process behind that.
Being a buyer, it's like, oh, that must be the most expensive item. It's first.
Right. Well, not necessarily. It's all customized packages depending on what your budget is, but
Every customer's different.
every customer is different. Well, your needs are different, right? So by customizing a package that suits your needs, it's going to be different. It's not going to be one size fits all. But yeah, streaming television like Hulu, Vudu. When you're watching streaming television, a lot of people are not connected to cable anymore, which is, are you still connected?
I think so.
You didn't cut the cord yet?
No.
Yeah. Well, more and more people are. So I'm trying to reach those people. So it's hard as an advertiser if I want to do television. Well, not everybody's on cable
Gotcha.
television,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
now I need to supplement on top of that over the top.
Is this just going back to having 4 yellow page books and you have to be in all of them? That's the last thing I remember was
Yellow pages.
Yellow pages.
Hey, do you remember the yellow page days where you really had to sit with your yellow page rep?
Oh,
You really
yeah.
had to plan it out. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a day of
Yeah.
planning on your yellow page
Yeah.
ads. It was no joke, but you had to be there. And it's very similar to Google where that's where people are looking. So you have to be there to some degree. And then, there's organically being there and there's paid being there. So there's a lot to it. And that's kind of where I come in to help just consult with people, especially if people don't have, again, access to a big agency that can help them. And that's one of the reasons I got into it. So I can kind of help the community and the business.
Let me ask a customer question.
Okay.
Because when I advertise or promote, I feel that a lot of times all I'm doing is reminding people to call their own florist.
Yeah.
I'm a
it's
florist.
true.
Oh, that's right, it's anniversary. Hey, call,
Yes.
So I'm doing their work for them.
And to some degree, I mean, that's gonna happen. It is gonna happen because you are reminding them. But then, if you're maybe positioning it right, why am I calling you over that florist, right?
Okay.
And why am I calling
So
that
I'm the
unique
Lexus.
position? You are the Lexus.
I'm not the Chevrolet.
You're the unique. Yes, you're the. What is unique about AV Florist that's going to stand out to make me not want to call that other guy? So that's all in the positioning and the messaging.
And it's always got to be polite and
Not
not.
Depends on what platform you're on.
So you do know a lot about the business.
A little bit.
So Katie, what's this I hear about you and probably your hubby? Mm-hmm. Yeah, throwing axes.
Axe throwing, yes.
Axe throwing.
It's axe throwing, not catching, because that would be
not catching.
That's not good. Yeah, so it's recreational. We have leagues. It's competitive axe throwing, and it's the World Axe Throwing Championships coming up. And so, depending on how you throw throughout the year, you can qualify to make the championships.
Do they have Zoom meetings, or you have to actually go there?
You actually have to go there. Although during COVID they had what was called quarantine axe throwing, and you would have to do it remotely, which was a lot of fun. But no, we actually go to the venues and you compete, and there's a league. It's sort of like bowling or darts or anything like that. But it's axes and knives. We do knives too, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, so I just found out today that myself and my partner are duels throwers. So that's 2 people throwing axes at the same target.
Same time.
The same time.
Wow.
And we did pretty good this year and found out that we are going to be making the championship. So we're excited about
So I
it.
guess I know what you want for Christmas. It's probably a new axe.
A new axe.
A new sharpening stone. Or
Sharpening stones are good. I mean, they don't really use the stones anymore so much as they've got much more fancy equipment that they use to sharpen. I mean, it's all basically the same thing, but.
So that takes care of a couple hours a week. What are some of the other things that you enjoy about the Antelope Valley?
Like we had talked about earlier, I love the community. There's, hiking is very cool here. I know you're a big hiker, right? You go
All
around.
over the place, any
Yeah.
direction.
Which is great here in the Antelope Valley. But you know, just attending a lot of the functions, the chamber functions, the stuff on the boulevard, entertainment. You got LPAC. There's quite a bit to do here.
I'm friends with Sandy Corrales.
Oh yeah, Sandy.
And there's always something going on at the Palmdale Women's Club.
Oh, interesting.
They
I've
have-
never
They
been to
have
the
a
Palmdale
soup
Women's Club.
kitchen, they have a chili deal, they
Interesting.
feed people, and I just, there's 20 people that made the food, and it's just...
Very nice. And that's the kind of thing that you don't necessarily see in other communities, right? I mean, I'm sure that to some degree they have it, but we still have kind of that local, small town feel, even though we've got, growing 500,000 people.
Dave Owens, when the pandemic started, he helped form that group, that Facebook page about supporting local restaurants.
Yes, I remember that.
It's
That
got
was
like
so
20,000
good.
members.
That was so good.
And it saved many restaurants.
I liked that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the sort of thing that I think what you're doing with AV Nice that kind of needs to continue.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure that we don't lose that. Because I think as far as who we are as a community can be lost real easy when you've got a growing community with too many people, then we start losing those little
Changes
things.
every day.
It changes a lot. Yeah.
Do you think this morning at the AV Edge breakfast,
That was a great breakfast. That was really
who
good.
were the stalwarts that weren't there?
Yeah, right.
John Corrado's moved away,
Right.
and a few have passed, and
That's true.
the changing of the guard.
It really, really is. But we want to make sure that we keep some of those elements that keep this community very tight-knit, in my opinion.
Have you been to the AV Rural Museum?
I have been. They redid it, though, right?
Right, they added on, built another building.
We donated a truck when I was at Hunter. We donated, I call her Henrietta, is her name. I drove her a few times at a parades. And it was the original truck purchased from the dealership on Sierra Highway in
Wow.
1939.
Wow.
Before the Hunter family took it over. But that truck was actually purchased on Sierra Highway in 1939, which is amazing, right? And so now they had it fully redone and donated it to the Rural Museum, and there it is on display, Henrietta. So if you get a chance, go say hi to Henrietta.
How did Hank Hunter meet Buddy Redman?
There was some backroom deals going on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Another video.
I don't know if I can disclose all of that information.
They were friends.
Very much friends, yes.
Right across the street from each other.
And if you go into the dealership, you'll see pictures from the old time
Okay,
pictures, and you'll
yeah.
see pictures of Hank and Buddy. His family actually just donated a bunch of photos and everything to Tom and Tim, family photos, and they went through a bunch of stuff. So I was lucky enough to see a lot of that history. It's very cool.
Just seeing it is wonderful.
It really is. It really is cool.
Because our storage areas are filling up
Right.
with important stuff.
And digitizing things now is kind of the wave of the future, right? So we're taking all these photographs, which is nice because it preserves it.
Yeah. It gives somebody else a chance to see it.
That's true. That's very true.
Well, I don't think of you as a historical character in the Antelope Valley.
No.
Just one of the wonderful people that's come here.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love talking to you always.
And Katie, I'd like to give you an AV Nice wristband. AV Nice, nice people, nice businesses, nice places, just a wonderful place to live, changing the conversation that we have here in the Antelope Valley. So,
Outstanding. Look, it goes right with all my other bracelets here.
it's
I appreciate you doing this so much, and just creating that positivity means so much, I think, in this community. I really appreciate that you're doing this. Sometimes we get caught up in some negative things here.
That's right.
There are some things that we need to fix, but focusing on the positive helps us all grow. And I appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you. My pastor said, we're on the cutting edge here. Life in the Antelope Valley in Kern County in California, it's on the cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
But the good definitely outweighs the other stuff.
I definitely, but it doesn't always get highlighted, which is
Doesn't get
why
highlighted.
I'm so glad you're doing
Doesn't sell. But these days you don't need to sell much in the paper.
it. That's true.
It's a tough world. Everything is changing.
Oh, it really is.
Everything's
It's
changing.
and hopefully evolving for the better. We'd like to see, and hopefully that is what's happening. But I think that direction is going to be guided by things like this, right? What direction we go in are we going in a positive direction?
Yeah.
And what are we doing to make sure that happens?
Yeah, well, we're keeping it positive.
I love it.
Chris Spiker for AV Nice. We're at AV Florist, 70 years, with Katie Nelson. AV Nice, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.